A young, gentle mother stayed home to take care of her little daughter and waited for her husband to return after a long day of work. Unexpectedly, she faced a horrific tragedy. An intruder broke into their home in the middle of the night to rob them and attacked her. To protect her sleeping daughter, the mother chose to endure and even pretended to cooperate with the criminal, hoping he would not harm her child. In the final moments of her life, what she said was filled with pain and sacrifice. "Don't make a sound. Don't wake my daughter." On the morning of October 27, 2014, at around 3 a Mr. Trong, the victim's husband, was driving his delivery truck as usual. Suddenly, he received a call from his aunt. On the phone, she angrily scolded him, saying that his wife was too irresponsible for leaving their young child home alone in the middle of the night without anyone knowing. The situation was discovered when the little girl woke up in the night and could not find her mother. Crying, she ran to her grandmother's house to look for her mother. Seeing her granddaughter crying inconsolably, the grandmother hurried to comfort her and took her to rest. After that, she decided to go to Mr. Trong's house to check the situation. When she arrived, the grandmother noticed that all the lights in the house were on. The TV was still running, but there was no sign of the child's mother. Oddly, she recalled hearing faint whispers just before she knocked, as if someone was still in the house. Thinking that her daughter might have just stepped out for a moment, she turned off the TV and went back home. Afterwards, she recounted the situation to Mr. Trong's aunt, who immediately called to inform him. After hearing his aunt's reprimands, Mr. Trong quickly called his wife. However, he called 3 times and no one answered. A sense of unease told him that something was wrong, so he decided to turn his car around and head back home. At around 4 a Mr. Trong arrived home. He continued to call his wife, and this time he heard the sound of a phone ringing from inside the house. Following the sound, he discovered his wife's phone lying on the dining table. This caused him to feel anxious. After all, it was late at night, and there was no way his wife would go out and leave her phone at home. As he scanned the room, he noticed a shadow flitting past the corner of his eye. When he turned, there was nothing there, but an inexplicable chill ran down his spine. He began searching every corner of the house. When he went down to the first floor, he found the bathroom window wide open, and the frame had been broken. A cold premonition came over him. He continued to check, and when he opened the storage room door, he immediately collapsed. Before his eyes was his wife's body, naked, lying motionless on the floor. In shock, Mr. Trong immediately called the police. When arriving at the scene, police identified the victim as Din Tru Nak, 28 years old, Mr. Trong's wife. Autopsy results showed that she passed away at about 11 p.m. on October 26th. Before her death, she was violated. The scene showed that a cash drawer had been broken into and all the money inside was taken. Initially, the police determined that this was a robbery and murder. However, there was one detail that caught the police's special attention. During the incident, the victim's daughter was still sleeping in the house without knowing it. This led the police to hypothesize that the perpetrator may have been an acquaintance because the way he acted did not make the girl detect it. Police collected fingerprints on the broken toilet window frame, along with some footprints in the house. Through analysis, police determined that the perpetrator was a man acting alone. Based on the traces, they recreated the criminal's actions. He broke into the house through the bedroom window, then went down to the kitchen, then went up to the master bedroom. Here, he controlled the victim and dragged her into the spare bedroom to commit the act of violation. Then, he forced her down to the first floor into the storage room to rob her and finally murdered the victim. There were no signs of violent resistance at the scene, indicating that the victim did not resist. This led police to speculate that she may have been patient and endured to protect her daughter from danger. During the investigation, police ruled out the possibility of personal grudges. Because Mr. Trong's family was in harmony with their neighbors and had no conflicts with anyone. By collecting information from people in the area, the police also received condolences about a kind-hearted woman who often helped others. When expanding the search area around the scene, police discovered an important trace at an iron gate near the victim's house. There were traces of climbing over, along with a half-smoked cigarette. They immediately collected this cigarette for DNA analysis. The results showed that the DNA from the cigarette completely matched the DNA sample collected from the victim's body. Based on this clue, the police focused on further investigation, determined to find the perpetrator, bring him to light and return justice to the mother who sacrificed everything to protect her daughter. The type of cigarette found at the scene was a locally produced brand, but people in the area rarely used it. On the contrary, this brand is often favored by out-of-province workers. Police immediately launched an investigation at stores near the scene to look for clues. Soon, they received important information from the owner of a small grocery store. This person confirmed that on the night of the incident, he sold a pack of cigarettes of this brand to a man. Fortunately, the store installed surveillance cameras and captured images of the buyer. According to images from the camera, at 8:24 p.m., October 20th, a man wearing a black shirt entered the store, took out 10 yuan to buy a pack of cigarettes, and left in less than 30 seconds. Because there were no surveillance cameras outside and the lighting at night was quite poor, police could not determine the man's direction afterward. However, by the way this person bought drugs very quickly and proficiently, the police believed that he was a familiar customer of the store. Based on this hypothesis, the police continued to review all surveillance videos before the day of the murder. In the video recorded on the morning of October 23rd, they discovered this man appeared again. This time, after leaving the store, the camera recorded his direction. Police followed traces from surveillance cameras on the route and discovered that the man had left the area on a motorbike. More importantly, they could clearly see the license plate with the ending B173. Based on this information, they were able to track down the owner of the car. The owner was a man surnamed Tang from Yixing, Jiangsu province. He owned 2 auto repair shops in the area. When the police found him, Mr. Tang said that the motorcycle belonged to him, but he had lent it to an employee named Guan Hanbing a long time ago. When the police showed Mr. Tang the camera image, he immediately recognized the man in the photo as Guan Hanbing. He also revealed that a few days ago, Guan Hanbing suddenly quit his job and did not even come to receive his salary of more than 10,000 yuan. This made him feel very strange. He also revealed that a few days ago, Guan Hanbing suddenly quit his job and did not even come to receive his salary of more than 10,000 yuan. This made him feel very strange. Through further investigation, the police discovered that Guan Hanbing had stayed at a hotel in Guangzhou. However, when they arrived at the hotel, he had already checked out and left. Continuing to track him down, they coordinated with local police and discovered that he had used the internet at an internet cafe in Shenzhen on May 11th. The police set up an ambush at the internet cafe and finally arrested Guan Hanbing when he returned. He was escorted back to Guangdong that night to assist in the investigation. At first, Guan Hanbing denied killing Ding Xiaoyu, but when the police presented irrefutable evidence, he had to bow his head and admit his guilt. When asked about the motive for the crime, Guan Hanbing's answer shocked everyone. He calmly said that he had no grudge against Ding Xiaoyu's family and had almost no connection with them. He confessed that he committed the crime only because he was frustrated and acted in anger. Guan Hanbing used to work as an apprentice at the victim's car repair shop on the first floor. During that time, he met Ding Xiaoyu several times when she brought food and drinks to the employees. This helped him understand her family's schedule, including the fact that her husband often went to work far away in a large truck, leaving only the mother and son at home. On October 26, 2014, Guan Hanbing had a conflict with his mother-in-law. Afterwards, he drank with his brother-in-law and drove him home. On the way home, he did not want to face the family quarrel, so he wandered aimlessly. Passing by Ding Xiaoyu's house, he realized that her husband's truck was not parked there. This means her husband is not home. While drunk, he thought of the gentle image of Din Trunak and compared it to his wife who was irritating him. He decided to take action. Guan Hanbing climbed over the iron gate near the victim's house, sneaked in through the bathroom window after breaking the anti-theft door. He took a knife from the kitchen, then went up to the second floor, where Din Trunak was watching TV. Her daughter was sleeping next to her. When she panicked and tried to call for help, Guan Hanbing immediately restrained her and threatened that if she resisted, her daughter would be in danger. Out of fear for her daughter, the victim was forced to do as he said, including him to the storage room to get money. However, after getting the money, Guan Hanbing feared that she would call the police, so he killed her. Before he was killed, Din Trunak's last words were still to tell him, "Don't make noise so that my daughter won't wake up." Hanbing to death for premeditated murder. The passing of Ding Xiaoyu is a heartbreaking tragedy, reflecting the cruelty of the perpetrator and the great love of a mother who, even in her last moments, devoted everything to protecting her daughter. Analyzing the murder case of Ding Xiaoyu is not only a personal tragedy, but also leaves many profound lessons about the complex nature of crime, human psychology, and the noble sacrifice of maternal love. From the details of the case, we can clearly see some notable highlights. 1. Criminal motive and perpetrator's psychology. Guan Hanbing in the case had no grudge against the victim's family. His motive came from frustration in his personal life, combined with the effects of alcohol and psychological instability. This shows the danger of unplanned crimes, but with serious consequences. Just because of a moment of excitement, a dark thought is enough to turn a person into a cold-blooded murderer, completely destroying the lives of others. Guan Hanbing's actions also showed cold calculation. He knew the victim's family's schedule, chose the time when her husband was away from home to act, and tried to flee after committing the crime. This shows that, although the initial motive may have been spontaneous, during the execution process, the perpetrator showed careful preparation and lack of humanity. 2. The victim's great maternal love. During the time of being threatened, assaulted, and violated, Din Trunak did not stop thinking about protecting her daughter. She did not resist, accepting to sacrifice herself to ensure that the perpetrator did not harm her daughter, who was sleeping soundly. Her last words before being murdered, "Don't make noise so that my daughter won't wake up," is a noble testament to the sacred maternal love. Din Tru Nak's sacrifice left an inconsolable pain for her family, especially her young daughter. Although she did not directly witness the incident, the absence of her mother and the tragic legacy of the case will certainly be a haunting shadow throughout her life. 3. The role of technology and coordination in the investigation. The case was solved quickly thanks to the use of surveillance technology and effective coordination between investigative agencies in many localities. From a cigarette, the police were able to track down the identity and whereabouts of the perpetrator through surveillance cameras. This shows the importance of applying technology to the criminal investigation process, especially in complex cases like this. 4. Consequences of the crime. Guan Hanbing's actions not only destroyed a family, but also cost him his own life. The loss of the victim's family is irreparable, and Guan Hanbing destroyed his own future with his own hands. This is a profound warning about the consequences of deviant thoughts and uncontrolled actions. Conclusion. The Din Tru Nak case is a heartbreaking testament to the cruelty of crime and the undying love of a mother. Din Tru Nak is not only a victim of violence, but also a symbol of selfless maternal love, a humane light in the darkness of inhumanity. In the moment of facing death, she did not cry out for herself, but only hoped that the evil person would not hurt her daughter. In addition, the case also raises painful questions about psychological and ethical issues in society. Guan Hanbing, although not having a direct conflict with the victim, still easily acted out of personal feelings and dissatisfaction in life. This rings an alarm bell about how people handle negative emotions, as well as the responsibility of society in supporting individuals showing signs of instability. In the end, justice was served, but the damage left by the case will never be erased. The husband lost his partner, the daughter lost her mother's embrace, and the community lost faith in the safety of their own home. However, the lesson from the case is also a reminder that we need to raise our vigilance, strengthen our solidarity, and constantly fight to protect human values in society. Din Tru Nak's sacrifice will never be forgotten. She was not only a mother and wife, but also a symbol of courage and fierce love for her children. Her name will always be remembered as a testament to the power of maternal love and the value of noble sacrifice.